Yo, yo, yo. How we doing today, boys? Bang. All right, let's get started. Dude, I really want that Giroud. I don't know how we're going to fit him in, though. We might get Giroud and have him be a super sub. That might be the way to make this work. Cryptic. How you doing, dude? Welcome. Trying Bale right now? Let me know how Bale is. I might get him as a super sub too, or try to pack him eventually or something. Don't realize how much we took League SBCs for granted. This game's gonna die so quick for me. Bro, I'm on my last strands, man. Literally, we typically get repeatable SBCs on Monday, so I'm waiting for that. So really, all I feel like I can do in the meantime is make gold upgrades and trade. I'm losing my mind. Like, when it comes to videos and stuff, too, there's nothing more I want to do right now than make a how to do the Libertadores League SBC grind video. Or, like, how to do the championship, how to do the MLS. When it comes to streams, I want to be doing that for a lot of the streams to build up fodder and stuff. But instead, I'm doing trading tips and I'm investing in shadows. There's no content in the stuff we do get is the same shit. Well, it's like, I was talking about this yesterday, and I'm hoping we get a change of content in the upcoming weeks. Because it's reaching the point where it's like there's some days I might as well not stream. Because it's like, what do I do? I don't know. Like, for the kind of content I make, it's like today's like today. It would make sense just to trade and build up fodder for tomorrow. Dude, that Giroud looks so good, though. I wonder what his price is going to get to. Is he going to get under 100K? Oh, yeah. He will. What even was the content today? We got 4 new cards. And a daily SBC was the content, I believe. But yo, to keep us busy in between trading, we will do a gold upgrade every 5 likes. So if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to smack the like button. Once we hit 5 likes, we'll do our first gold upgrade, and then every 5, we'll keep it going. Yeah, I'm going to wait till I'm going to buy him eventually. I'm probably going to wait till the promo's almost over. I have to get him. The thing is, he doesn't fit my team. I would need him to be a super sub. Because we're already having Rafael Leao be a super sub. We're already having, we could have Teo Hernandez in there. But we just did the Weah. So I'm not going to replace Weah. We just did the Aronson. Not going to replace him. The Cole, realistically, we could put Weah to right mid. But the Cole is what gets 09 on full chem. And keeps Stewart on full chem too with these 2 in the squad. I'm not taking out 09 or Stewart. So it's like I'm kind of running out of options. What we could do, we could remove Nesta and get Tamari at center back. Put like Mainan in goal and Teo at left back. But then we don't have Capdevilla, who's insane, and Nestle, who's been doing pretty good. 3 more swaps than Vieira. GG, man. I can't believe the excuse for no World Cup mode was it'll kill the market, even though there's like 200k plus players. Pretty dead to me. So, I personally have no issue with the fact that there wasn't a separate World Cup mode. I actually like the fact that it wasn't a separate World Cup mode, because imagine if they made it separate and gave essentially the same content. Let's say they take the idea of what they did now, that they put into the actual Ultimate Team. Let's say they split it apart into its own game mode outside of Ultimate Team. It would be even deader content for Ultimate Team, which would, in my opinion, kill the market even more. What they did worse, though, was not having the separate game mode and the content they have, making it so we can't get the rewards right when we unlock them was stupid. We should have been able to get rewards the second we got to that level. Waiting until after the World Cup game mode's done is stupid. Because if you look at the time, too, the World Cup is over in 2 weeks, right? World Cup finals 2 weeks from now. Why are we waiting another 30 days? Like, does anybody know? If the World Cup final is in 14 days, why are we waiting another 2 weeks for the game mode to end? That makes no sense to me. And then the fact that they didn't do more player SBCs or man of the match cards. They literally could have had every single day different man of the match cards from the group stage games. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, the cards are pointless. The cards we get are pointless. So if they're pointless, why not give us like a repeatable SBC for them? Doesn't have to be the craziest thing in the world, but if you're going to give us like a 75 plus times 5, make it where maybe you have to put 5 of those World Cup cards back in. You just keep recycling it or something like that. Or, hear me out, this might be a foreign concept. Maybe a League SBC so we could have a way to get fodder. I know, that's a hot take right there. I haven't shadow invested, but I might now knowing you've lost coin. Wait. I haven't shadow invested, but might now knowing you've lost coins if you was to sell at current price. If I was to sell at current price? What's the current price right now? Anyways, we're holding long term, so it doesn't matter. If they're even lower, I'll buy them even lower. My average is between 1,200 and 1,300. Closer to 1,300, so. 1.2 on bed? Perfect. Pick up another couple hundred this week. Do you know how to icon trade? Yes, I just don't do it. If you're icon trading, there's other channels that'll explain it even better and make videos on it. But essentially, you get really good at looking at graphs of icons, checking their prices at different times of the day, noticing when they're high, noticing when they're low, and picking up in between. Also trying to get snipes. On the bright side, at least World Cup is for another 2 weeks, which means Liverpool plays in 2 weeks. Downside is we'll lose the football talk on Discord. It will be brutal. Oh, dude. I feel like our community kind of came together in the football talk section a little bit during World Cup. When it goes back to club, it's going to be so toxic again. Flarefoot is unreal with what he does. His inform shadow method is ridiculous. What does he do with inform shadow method? What do you mean get fodder? We can get fodder. True, we do have FIFA points. You bring up a really good point. I didn't even think of that. Let me just load up like $100 worth right now. Bro, I'm outnumbered. Jesse's left, so I'm literally the only Liverpool fan in there. When we play, it's on mute for an hour because of the roasting. Hey, I'm a Sunderland fan, so every time I say anything, it's a collective community. We do not care. Response. 83 times 5, rare players pack, ultimate pack, not one player over 84. They're so rigged, these packs, because everyone's getting their 84 times 60s done. I got literally the worst possible foot champs rewards. What's up with EA content lately? I don't know, man, but I give EA the most grace. I give EA the biggest benefit of the doubt. I give the most patience possible to EA, I feel like, out of most content creators. And I'm slowly losing that. So, realistically, the World Cup game mode, if it's over in like 30 days, is the beginning of January. If by my birthday, January 31st, there isn't League SBCs, I'm throwing hands with an EA employee. We'll set up a boxing match. I sold all my bronze rares. I sold all my silver rares. Silver rares. I sold all my gold commons. And I sold all my silver commons. Now we're reinvesting. It's essentially sniping informs with a shadow on them because they have a shadow on them. They sell for 2 to 3K, at least above regular price. How long does it take to sell them then? Off your track record, I wouldn't be surprised if you're on some sort of EA contract. Dude, if EA wants to pay me to talk good about their game or give the benefit of the doubt, I would love it. Give me a contract. I do that stuff on the free. Can we see your team? Yes, sir. You can see my team. All right, we hit 5 likes too. So we got to make a gold upgrade for you guys. We're doing a gold upgrade every 5 likes in between the trading. Here is the team. So we have to buy down Aruma back. I sold them to make a little bit of profit and so we could afford more silvers. But this is what we're currently playing with. I'm going to get the Giroud, and we're going to have the Giroud coming off the bench. I really want to use Giroud, but it's hard to rationalize getting him in this team if Ross Stewart and O9 are kept in. All within the hour, he's doing 0 to 2 mil in 7 days, and that's his main method, and it works really well. You're already praising him without getting paid? It's not really praising. I would say this. The way I talk about EA's content, if you ever want to understand where I'm coming from, my perspective is always in the standpoint of how can someone who loves grinding menus still find a way to grind this game regardless of what EA brings out. So the way that works is I assume EA is not going to give us content. I have to take the position of they're leaving us with the scraps instead of like a full meal. So I'm always going to be coming with the position of making do with what little's available, because I don't feel like it's beneficial for me to sit here and bitch and complain every single day and tell people to not play FIFA and me to not play FIFA when it's literally all I want to do. Especially when it comes to streaming and content creation. It's almost counterintuitive. Like, why would I tell my whole community, hey, you know what? Not only should you stop playing FIFA, you should all stop watching FIFA as well. No need to be a part of this community anymore. Like, in a perfect world, we have League SBCs out right now, and all of us are happy grinding them, and we're packing great stuff along the way and making coins, but it's just simply not the case. But does that mean I need to abandon everything we've built up as a community just for the sake of maybe League SBCs are out a little later than they usually are? Or we don't like every single piece of content, but there's still a way we could grind? I don't know. I could be wrong in that thinking, but I would rather have that thinking than to give up on the game. Thus my point of, I feel like when we don't have repeatables out, it's in my best interest to trade and build up coins for the most part. That way we can make more content on days where repeatables are out. We can make the videos. We can show our best pulls. Yada, yada. But like realistically, if I had a perfect scenario, I would want to be making like 3 to 5 YouTube videos a week. I'd want every single day a YouTube short and a TikTok. I'd want to stream every single day. I'd want constant pack openings. But it's just simply not possible right now. I only watch when content's good and I want to grind. Bar tonight where I'm bored as fuck. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm bored too. Like, if I wasn't streaming, I'd just be doing this office stream. So, might as well show you guys how we're getting ready. What's up, Furcan? How we doing, buddy? All right, gold upgrade time. It's not, though. It's more or less a mockery of your time. EA are somewhat manipulating us to lower standards. And you know what? If me playing a game that I've played since I was a little kid and can still find enjoyment with is a mockery of my time and I should completely quit cold turkey, so be it. But I personally don't feel that way. And if you feel that way, Marcus, you don't have to play this game at all. But I think it's a little counterintuitive for me to give up literally everything that I've built for the past 3 years specifically with FIFA, but the last 7 to 8 years with content creation, just because League SBCs aren't out. Or I don't like the fact that we don't have a repeatable SBC every single day. Or that the World Cup game mode could have been better in my opinion. I've been really enjoying gameplay recently. That's one thing. I really enjoyed grinding for the swap tokens, which was surprising. Typically, I hate that, but I really enjoyed the golden goal aspect. Dude, I'm not losing coins on these this year. Nope, not doing them. Bro, y'all gotta calm down. There's literally 2 content days on 2K. You're respecting an institute that doesn't respect the community of their institute. They're making more income and have more people playing. They've succeeded in their opinion. And Marcus, I think you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I hope EA succeeds. I truly do. What is the other alternative? That EA crashes and burns? Now I have to find a new game to stream and play? I don't want that. Maybe it takes different hires to turn the company around to the content I'd like to see. Or maybe it takes a little bit more patience. Or maybe it takes a little bit more effort from the community to push back in certain areas to make change happen. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't think your response is the response I would want to give. Because it's counterintuitive to my goals. Y'all mad about not getting content every single day? I don't personally need content every single day. I want a way I can grind every single day throughout the week. I don't need a repeatable SBC every single day. But the nice thing about League SBCs is you could always fall back on that, regardless of if new content came out. Informed Shadow Method. Does he have a video on it, Marcus? Do you know? Playing career mode, maybe ET player is like your mom saying there's food at home. You go past the burger joint. Playing career mode made to an ultimate team player is like your mom saying there's food at home when you go to burger joint. Some people take us too seriously. I'm not playing career mode, lol. I get what you're saying. You've compromised with the means EA have provided and taken advantage of that. Okay, so in what ways do you think myself, Reed Falbo, aka Mumbo, have compromised when it comes to FIFA? I would love to hear your reasons where you feel I've compromised and where I should go differently. Because I feel like the biggest area you might point at is the fact that there's no League SBCs. So if that's the case, my question to you is, what is my response without League SBCs? Because with repeatables, it's perfectly fine. I can still make the videos. I can still grind them. And that's typically, what, 4 or 5 days out of the week? So we're really talking about 2 days. So what morals have I compromised that would mean I would have to give up on this game by the fact we don't have League SBCs yet, if that's your reasoning? It's a game meant to be played with enjoyment. And I'm going to get shit for this. I generally still really enjoy this game. A lot of people are complaining the game's boring and it's not fun anymore. I still love this game every single day I play. I might get crap for that, or I might say I'm sucking EA's dick. I absolutely love this game. I just play it so much that I wish there was more to do. That's it. That's exactly what I'm saying. This is your response to no League SBCs. It's not a question of your moral dedication, more of your obedience to just accepting. Okay, so if it's me just accepting what EA gives, by that logic, what am I supposed to do? Because if it's only reflected in League SBCs, what has changed with repeatables, right? So is your problem with the fact there's no League SBCs? Because I think I have that same problem. But if the answer to no League SBCs means I don't play the game, I would disagree with that being the answer. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Marcus? That's the thing I don't understand with what you're saying. If your response to no League SBCs is my opinion should be I stop playing this game completely, I don't think that's the correct response. If anything, I need to push harder in the areas I can control. Investing, trading, repeatables. You gotta adapt, man. I've adapted every single year with every single FIFA. This year, nothing's changed with that logic. If anything, we're going to make more coins this year than we've made in any year past. And the reason we're probably going to be able to is the lack of League SBCs right now in good repeatables. So if anything, and again, this is not me sucking EA's dick, this is me adapting with the content. If we don't have really good repeatables yet, and we don't have League SBCs yet, wouldn't the best use of my time be making as many coins as possible? Because if I could get 10 million to 25 million coins, think about how easy it's going to be to grind League SBCs and repeatables for the rest of the game. Oh, hey, EA are very successful and good at what they do for a reason. Their lack of communication and understanding their own community is what's disappointing. No, I actually completely disagree with that. I don't think they misunderstand their community. I think they misunderstand. No, you know what? No, I completely disagree. 100%. They know exactly how we feel. We are not the marketed audience. The people who buy this game year in, year out, spend money on it, go crazy, play it a crap ton, we are not the audience they're marketing to. They're marketing to the majority of their audience, which is the newer user base, the casual player who doesn't need all this content to begin with. We are not the product. We're not the one they're trying to market their product to, because they know we'll buy it no matter what. The marketing to the people who will casually play, where the content they're already putting out is already too much. The person who's not going to be able to get to 750 World Cup players because they're not on every single day, or only a little bit throughout the week. That is their audience. And I think I've accepted that because I don't think their marketing scheme is going to be to the 1% of the 1%. It would almost be counterintuitive for them to give us a crap ton of fodder consistently. It's almost as if they want you to buy FIFA points instead of being able to trade really easily, make coins really easily. That's never really changed. And then when League SBCs became super, super profitable, their response was to try to make it untradeable, to counter that. I don't think that's because EA hates us. I think as a corporation, they want to make as much money as possible. They're going to try to walk that fine line of making tweaks that can make them more money in the long run without upsetting their audience enough to not buy it. Probably have 300K by the end of the night. Could spend 40K to get Puyol. You think it's worth it? Yeah, I would honestly play with him. Yeah. If you really want to use them, go for it. Or if you want to try him out, go for it. Because Nesta is not Maldini by any means, but he's been playing amazing for me. And if there's no better time to play him than now, I don't know when I'd play him, right? By the time there's a Maldini SBC or repeatable icons that will get Maldini eventually or just buy him off the market, I'd rather play with them right now. Same way that like maybe you'd want to play with Puyol. What are your all coins in? I have almost 4,000 shadows. My goal is to get at least 5,000 shadows and push towards 10,000 shadows. Adapting and compromising. We're speaking on the exact same logic. I'm not blaming you for doing what you've done because it's the most logical response. It's E's fault for not doing enough. Yeah, true. I agree with that. Yeah, sorry if I misconstrued what you were saying. I just get emotional with this because I feel like as a content creator, there's no way to win. If I even buy FIFA, I feel like I'm going to get criticism by people by saying I'm falling into the same system every single year. And if I don't get it, the response is what? I don't stream FIFA. I don't create FIFA content. I get zero viewership for it. When I want to build a community through FIFA in football. That's the difficult part. But then again, I would even argue the fact that they made the change to try to make League SBCs more untradeable, the way they did it, provided us a pathway of adapting that led us to the League SBC grind we did last year for Libertadores. And if it wasn't for the changes EA made with the League SBCs, making it down to 4 teams, making half of them untradeable, making the other half tradable, I don't think we would have gotten as much community to try to understand the Libertadores grind as we did. So almost, it's like the negative thing that EA did, or the change from what they normally do, provided us a pathway to get even more of a community and to find an even better grind. What do you get if you get 750 World Cup players? I think isn't 83 plus times 5? I can take a look at it here in a second. One % is the extreme and should dictate just as much as the majority. The 1% can't be ignored because they're the ones, although not many, produce so much for the game. Even economies in real life, the 1% dictate and grow a lot of that majority, and 1%, if ignored, leads to complete instability. Well, yeah, there's truth to that, but I feel like FIFA is a little different than an actual economy. Because if we're talking about an actual economy, the 1% would be the ones with the resources in that said organization. So the example I would probably point to is like if you take EA as a company, or take any company, any publicly traded company, if the 1% is the people who have a huge stake in the company, their voice is going to be heard. But if I'm the 1% based on like FIFA coins and FIFA club value or that sort of thing, that's really very limited power in the course of EA's goals as a company. If we're being honest, if they just keep increasing their FIFA point sales every single year at the rate they're doing, they really don't need people buying the ultimate version of the game, or those OGs that have been buying it since like FIFA 09 to keep buying it every single year. They could lose all of us veterans in this community and just start a brand new audience and be just fine. But I also think we have a habit of looking back to the past and seeing how things used to be and having this kind of misconception in our head of, dang, things are never going to be that good again. Meanwhile, we have a whole new generation being raised on new games, new things, where they're going to look back from this point and see it at a different point and be like, dang, I really miss when it was like that. So I guess there's beauty in any game. There's beauty in any sort of time period. It's just hard for us to see because we're constantly comparing it to other stuff. Every time I search for players to snipe, I come out of... Yeah, the filter thing's so annoying. The way to switch, I think if you go to PlayStation 4's version, I think it still keeps it. Or if you go to the web app or companion app, it's still there. I feel like EA needs to patch it in their next patch. I personally feel like they did it on purpose, which is very scummy. But because you lose the filter every single time, here's where I'm going to get shit again because I'm praising EA or saying there's a positive from it. The positive of the scummy thing EA did by making the filter go away, it makes people not want to search for cards as much. Which personally for silvers, with already a limited market, for me, I've noticed it makes it a lot easier to win silvers. And once League SBCs come out, if they do, it's going to make it a lot easier to win League SBCs if it's still a problem by then. Because the fact that it's annoying means less people are going to do it. Yeah, earn so much money every day. Why would they care about someone who isn't spending at least 50 per promo? Are the 1% of this game not the individuals with the most superior resources? The power dynamic between casuals and veterans? So, okay. Are the 1% of this game not individuals with the most superior resources? But what are the resources we have? That's the question. The power dynamic between casuals and veterans of this game is unreal. What power do veterans have in this game? That's what I'm confused about. Are you talking about FIFA in general? Are you talking about Ultimate Team? Because, like, if I'm considered a veteran, I feel like I have very limited power. What was Nepenthes' analogy? You think smart? It's just, I try to think logical through something. It's not that I can't be upset with something, but there's always a positive somewhere. What are you doing right now? Making easy coins, flipping silver center backs. If you guys want to see the silver center back method, I'll link you to trading playlist in chat. We can make another video on the silver center back method this week if you guys want to, since we need a way to create more videos. But if you take a look at the FIFA trading playlist that is pinned in chat as well, it shows you how to do it in the silver player method video. Is it risky to invest in 85s right now? They're 7.4. I don't typically invest in fodder. If you know it can get lower and it's usually not that price, maybe think differently or see what other traders and investors are doing. Cam, what's up, buddy? All right, let me know once we hit 10 likes, dudes, and we'll do another gold upgrade. Would you make more if you spent 50 hours doing BPM? Or let's say you make minimum wage at work, work 50 hours and put those means towards the game. Oh, yeah, I heard that. I completely agree with that, yeah. Anything that you do in-game for the most part, unless you're really good at investing, the time you put into it, getting a job, working that, and spending it on FIFA points or buying FIFA coins will be infinitely a better use of your time in terms of achieving that. I completely agree. Has anything been leaked on what we're supposed to get this week for SBCs? Are we going to get more icons or more hero stuff? DG, what's up, man? How's it going? It's going to be very World Cup football on Saturday night. The England versus France. I'm so excited for England versus France. Is there any way to get a lot of fodder right now? Yes. Swaps if you haven't done them already. That's probably the best way. The 84 times 20, the 82 times 20, the 3 times 84 times 20. Those are going to be your best friends for fodder right now. You have gold upgrades for a repeatable, but that's going to be hit or miss on your pack luck. You got repeatables most likely tomorrow. So if your goal is to get fodder maybe this week and you don't necessarily need it today, I'd maybe trade and then pick up some gold commons for 300 to 350 on bid. Trying to sort Squad Builder Showdown with someone for Wednesday evening. Am I down for one? I don't think I've ever done a Squad Building Showdown. What does it entail? Possibly. Resources solely in coins. The dynamic is so evident with the market. How much the meta is between 50 to 750k range. Everything else is 1.8 mil and above. There's such a consistent average with the majority. That's the only way to catch up. True. How's the squad looking? This is what these squads currently looking like. We're gonna get Giroud this week as well. So here's the thing too, though. I feel like that dynamic changes as well, depending on the content you produce. So if you're someone like Nepenthes, I don't watch a lot of Nepenthes anymore, so correct me if I'm wrong. When League SBCs come out and stuff, he'll show like how he grinds it and things like that. But for the most part, it seems like he's very new content focused and very gameplay focused with his like week-to-week content for his like RTG stuff, or he talks about like things with the game, how he feels, yada yada. For me, as someone whose main goal is to make content on how to grind, how to trade, how to make coins, this and that, I guess that technically never goes away. There's always a way to show that. And I think it changes the dynamic a little bit too. Because let's say my content's just pack openings, right? No bridge to show people how to get the pack openings, but just straight content. Me working my job and spending money on FIFA points or buying FIFA coins would be infinitely a better use of my time compared to the way I'm making these coins to be able to produce content consistently of showing pack openings and stuff. However, that being said, my goal is to not do that. My goal is to show people who don't want to spend money realistically how you can do it. And no matter how big the gap is between someone who buys FIFA points and can afford these big things versus someone who has no money whatsoever and is just trying to like trade and catch up, my whole kind of goal is to show people that, hey, where you are right now, there is a level that you can get to just by grinding the game. And by the end of the game, your team is probably going to look pretty similar to that person who spends thousands of dollars on FIFA points a year and then has to start next year at the same exact position you are. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon for me. So wherever that 1% is, or those people who have those crazy resources, the Batesons of the world, sure, maybe you're not going to be able to get a full icon team of the best icons in the game, but having resources, ways to make coins, ways to do SBCs to get those icons, ways to pack promo cards, potentially the best ones, I think that does a pretty good job for what I'm trying to accomplish. W team. So we do a player, say Eric's an example. We do him, choose formation. Someone gets formation right. You choose formation from other person, player, etc. Yeah, DM me on Discord. To be honest, right now I'm leaning more towards no, because I've never really done something like that before. I'm usually not doing much gameplay anyways, and I don't know personally where you live. I'm going to assume UK. It'd be hard to schedule something like that. And then also, it's not really content I produce on the channel, so it'd be a very different sort of upload. But yeah, if you can lay out like different stuff and tell me more about it, I might be down, but leaning towards more no at the moment. Yeah, just send me a DM, brother. Thank you so much, man. Feel as the years went by, the gameplay got so bad, they had to find other ways to keep up the communities engaged, thus giving us promos. And now that both the content and market are both horrible, the game is in such a sad state. I will say this, though. You do mention, like, a lot of things are in a sad state. One of the positives that's come out of gameplay this year, it's a little more nerfed now that, like, explosive and the other things are working the way they're supposed to. There was a period of time where lengthy was so insane, and it still is to a certain extent, where a silver common with 75 pace is still able to do well in both FUT champs and division rivals. I don't think I would have been able to do this last year. I'm quite happy with the fact that I'm still playing with them. I'm still playing with Luke 09. And not because I'm just wanting to use the Sunderland player. I generally enjoy using them. And if they took that away or that wasn't a thing, I think after week 1 I would have been done with using Stewart. Is it worth grinding the 20 tokens when I wasted 13 on the 82 times 20 and the 84 times 20? Yes, it is 100% worth it for the 3 times 84 times 20. From a sheer standpoint of fodder, even if you don't pack anything crazy. 86 Puyol or 91 doesn't even look that much better than his 86. Let me take a look at them. I figured the dilemma, you're thinking more from a personal perspective, whereas I'm speaking from the perspective of pleasing everyone in the community. I guess it's all just an argument about content production from EA's standpoint. I think regardless of whether you think the community should be patient or not, EA should be... Yeah, no. So let me lay this out in a way that maybe brings those two things together, because I think you make a good point. I think I can both be disappointed in EA with the lack of content they're bringing out, especially in the areas where I create content, while also trying to, for myself as a content creator in this community specifically, this community we have and the future community, try to find avenues to still grind the game to where if you want to play a lot each day and feel like you're working towards something, you can still do. And that's been my thing for the past couple years. And if that's my logic going into it, realistically, EA could completely remove League SBCs, never bring out player picks or anything ever again, and even if we were just left with a gold upgrade as the only thing we could do for a repeatable, I think I would still be able to find a way to show people how to grind that and balance that with other stuff. However, the way we would change our content might warp around that. So the focus last year was Libertadores. The focus this year could be gold upgrades. But what I would argue more the focus is this year for me is the position modifiers and the shadows. Having these be like a better use, right? So the lack of repeatables right now, my response in terms of what I'm thinking as a content creator is, hey, if I think they're going to be here and it's just a delay rather than they're not coming at all, the best thing I can do is show people how to have resources ready to go to be in a position where when League SBCs do come out, because they'll be way later than it has been in the past previous years, if you don't necessarily want to do it for profit, what you do now could be very important for how many League SBCs you're able to do later on, especially if your goal is to be ready by Team of the Year, which I also think that's another thing EA is doing. I think besides just the World Cup game mode, I think more and more people are trying to get a stack club and to get stack packs for Team of the Year. And they saw how easy it was last year when people did the, the 80 plus stat packs, where it was like the 80 plus passing, 80 plus shooting, 80 plus pace, whatever. And people were packing crazy Team of the Years easily with, I believe it was it the passing one? I think in response to that, they're re-evaluating their content and they're saying, okay, realistically, how can we make it as hard as possible for people to make it as easy as possible to get these Team of the Years. I think the big saving packs and the really, really good repeatables are two of those ways. Like, for example, the repeatables this year that I feel like EA is going to look back at next year and potentially change, or I guess whatever the game's called next year, would be what they gave us this past week. The top league specific 80 plus double upgrades, I believe, is what they were, right? You got the Prem, La Liga, League One, or something. Those could be really good. Sorry, I gotta look at the PK, my bad. I'm doing one with footy next week, Mumbo Lad. I'm struggling to make content, mate. It's so hard, as I'm a new YouTuber myself. Yeah, and I'm struggling too, man. I think that's a boat we're all in, brother. You're struggling to do the content you're trying to figure out because you're saying you're a smaller YouTuber, you're trying to figure out how to create content, and a lot of that probably comes with collaboration. For me, I'm finding it extremely hard to create the content that I want to create because I don't feel like EA's providing the resources they usually do, what I base content off of. So, yeah, it's a really sucky camp to be in, man. I feel the same way. So you said between which versions of them? Between his 86 and his 90? $91. Oh, do they not have them in the concepts? I would look at the attributes. I'd go to Footbin and compare them by attributes to see what the big difference is. Because there might be like hidden attributes that don't show up in the base stats. That might be important to you. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why he wasn't showing up in the database there. I packed World Cup Stories Giroud. Dude, that's awesome to hear, brother. I really want to get him first owner this week. That's going to be my goal. Imagine if every few months they added one of the repeatables in the upgrade section permanently. That'd be sick. I always thought it'd be fun to have in the upgrade section, if I could run this upgrade section, I would love if there was a continuous player pick. How would you guys feel about this? So, if they made it where, you know how you have the bronze upgrade, the silver upgrade, and the gold upgrade? Realistically, if you're someone who's, let's say, started with BPM, you're putting your bronze commons into the bronze upgrade, you're getting silver commons and silver rares. You're putting those in the silver upgrade, you're getting gold commons. Then you put your gold commons into the gold upgrade and you get gold rares, for the most part. You could get the inform, you could get the promo icons if they're available at the time. But then once you have a bunch of gold rares, there's really nothing there all the time that you can put them into. You could put the gold rares back into the gold upgrade, but I always thought it'd be cool to have a permanent, not a crazy good one, but just a permanent player pick, where you can put a lot of those resources into like a player pick at all times. And since it'd be there at all times, I don't think it needs to be the greatest of value or something you should pour all your coins into, but merely something that you can put your stuff into if nothing's out. So maybe they do it where it's a 75 plus player pick between like 2 or 3 players, repeatable for the rest of the year. And maybe it's a limited squad where you only need like, I don't know, 5 gold rares or something. Any investment tips right now? Yes. In previous years, shadows have always gone extinct at 5K. I'm not claiming that shadows are going to go extinct this year, but with them at 1,300 to 1,200 that you could get on bid right now, my question to you is, do you think shadows are ever going to be higher than 1,200 or 1,300 coins? We thought the same way with position modifiers. we got our average buy now or our buy price down to 700, 750. And then position modifiers got to what, 2K plus? So I guess my question is with like consumables, are there consumables do you think is really good value right now that maybe throughout the week you could flip or long term could be a really good investment? Quick investment, gold commons. If we get a repeatable SBC tomorrow like we normally do, gold commons are going to fly through the roof like normal if needed. So I would say that'd be the first thing to invest in. Typically 300 to 350 you want to pick them up for. If you had 86 Puyo, would you spend coins to do the 91 Puyo? If you already have the 86, maybe not then. But if you were debating whether to buy the 86 or do the 91, I would just do the 91 SBC. And on top of that, right, if you have most of the resources already, or it's going to be pretty easy to get and it's extremely cheap, even just from looks base, I would want the 91. And the fact that it's a World Cup hero one or World Cup icon one, I'd want to do that. How much are you expecting shadows to rise to? Let me show you guys something real quick. So this is a spreadsheet I've made. The shadows are up to date in terms of the amount I have, and then you can like fluctuate prices. So my average purchase price is about 1,300 right now. So if we sold at 1,300, which I'm not, at that current value, I would have, after EA tax, a little more than 4.5 million coins just in shadows, which if you look at different areas of my club with other sort of cards, that checks out that we're in a position where we could have over 5 million liquid. However, my goal is to not sell at that price. My goal is to, at least for the most part, hold until higher prices. And the way I'm doing it is I have the silver methods I do in between. I'm not using shadows anymore as flips because I did that with position modifiers. So with position modifiers, I ended up picking up thousands for 700 to 750 coins. A lot of them early on were a higher price, but we slowly got that average buy price down. We ended up selling a lot at 950, which we made a ton of coins on because we had thousands of cards. However, they went even higher than that. They went up to 2K, which if we would have held those till they were 2K, no matter how many coins we would have made off of position modifiers in that time, it would have been infinitely more if we would have just held till they're the higher value. So shadows, I'm thinking the same thing. Realistically, I could be in a position where I could sell all 3,700 of my shadows if they ever got to, like, let's say 1,800 again, which they will. I could have realistically 6.3 million liquid, and then I could wait till they get back down again and buy them when they get back down. However, in past years, it seems to be the case that sometimes things like shadows don't really go back down, or they don't go as low as we think they are. So when I see shadows at under 1,300 coins, in my head, I don't want to think of that as an easy trading tip to flip or small term investment to hold on to and wait for it to go up a little bit. I would be more preoccupied to kind of track to see realistically what is my coin total goal I want for this year. And for me, I want between 10 million liquid and 25 million liquid. If we look at the price of shadows, if they went extinct at 5K, just off of what I have right now, I'd have over 17 million coins, right? That would be infinitely more coins than I'd be able to generate just doing like silver trading in a very quick time. So what I would rather do, and the way I'm kind of going about this, is I have limits that I'm going to be able to pull out at. So right now my limit is 3K. I'm thinking about raising it to 3,500. So what I mean by that limit is if I have, let's say 3,700, I have 3,696. If I notice that, let's say shadows go to 1,800, I want to make some coins, or if I want to use my shadows as like an ATM, a way to pull out cash if I see a better investment somewhere, or I see something I want to do, or something I want to buy, I might tell myself, you know what? To get best of both worlds, where I can still profit 500 coins per each one of these cards, but not lose all my investments, let me pull down all the way to 3,500. So I'm willing to pull up to 200 shadows, get those coins, but the rest I have to hold. For me, I want to hold because my goal is long-term with those. And then as we get more and more, let's say this number goes up to 4,000. Let's say the number goes up to 5,000. If I get the 5K shadows, I might look at this and say, hey, we are dangerously close to, if they go extinct, I could be at 25 million coins. What is the number I need to get to for that 25 million? Looks like it might be 5,400, 5,300. Okay, so if 5,300 is the goal, I might say to myself, okay, if I can have shadows go extinct at any point in the game, let's say it's later in the game, towards team of the year or past that, or by team of the season, if I can continue to put more shadows in, the more shadows I have, the lower the price has to be to get to 25 mil, right? Or the more money I can make if they do go extinct, right? Both things can be true. And what I've noticed this year is you have a way of making coins consistently. Like with silvers, we're making about 100K a day. Granted, it's about 700K a week then if we're making 100K a day. But some days are way more, some days are way less. Depends on the content, depends on the prices of stuff. This is how I would think of shadows. My silver methods, the way I'm making coins on a day-to-day basis, the trading, look at trading as a job you're working. You're making a certain amount of money. It's expected you're going to get this much. And then shadows is kind of an investment, right? I might need to have different things to keep up with my lifestyle in FIFA. I might need to pay for my team. I might need to pay for new promo cards that come out. There might be packs I need to make for content or promo packs I open up for new members, things like that. All that stuff might be my cost of living, essentially. And then the rest of the stuff is an investment. So with investments, typically you want to hold those, especially if it's like in a retirement portfolio. If 25 million is my retirement goal, it would make sense not to pull out a ton of these prematurely. I want to work towards that retirement. I want to see the path on the way there. But if the price isn't changing too much, let's say we get over 5,000. Let's say we get to 5,000, which would be another, I think, 1,300 more shadows. And I look at this and I see, okay, you know what? That price at 1,300, I'm not liking the fact that it'd only be 6 mil, a little more than 6 mil. I want that number to be closer towards 10 mil. Regardless if it goes extinct, I want that to be closer than 10 mil. I would then work on this and say, hey, realistically, if I keep putting shadows in a week, like let's say I do $1 million a week of trading, and I put 250K into shadows every single week, regardless of what the price is. The more quantity I have, the less the price has to be that we sell at to get to our goal after EA tax. Does that kind of make sense? I'm just kind of trying to think through like the logic in my brain. So for me, what did I say? I was at 3696, I think. For me, long-term shadow investing is the only thing I really care about right now, because any trading I can do with like 20K. As long as I keep at least 20K around, I'm good no matter what. How much are you expecting shadows to rise eventually? Literally to go extinct is the best thing that could happen, but just rise in general. So I'm covered no matter what, because my goal is long term. If you're going to play the game of short term, what price could they get to in between? You'll constantly get it correct and you'll constantly get it wrong. And when you get it correct, you're going to be upset because you'll get even better and you could have gotten even more coins out of it. And when you get it wrong, you'll want to sell by a certain price, but they keep dropping. If you're getting in at a certain point and trying to get out at a certain point, just like investing in real life, it's going to be a lot harder than if your goal is long-term investing. That's going to be more gambling if you do it short-term. How much do you weigh currently? 240, I think, right now. I need to step in the scale tomorrow morning to get an exact number. 240. Before Christmas, I'm cutting down to about 235, I think. Eat at Christmas. If I put on a couple pounds during that like week of celebrating the holiday, so be it. But then I'm cutting through winter all the way into spring, all the way into summer. So my goal will be to get below. I have different goals. So 225 is the minimum I want to get to. I would love to push to 200 again. However, the day-to-day lifestyle changes that would need to take place to do that, depending on how easy it is to control, I might opt at certain ranges. So if I look really good at 225, I look at a extremely low body fat percentage, I can see abs, I'm happy with the muscle, I'm still getting good workouts, I'm still eating enough, I'm still moving around enough, I might be good there. But if I notice, hey, you know what? Maybe cutting down to 215, I could look even better and maintain it. I'll do that. A couple years ago, I got down to 200. And I was really lean. I didn't have as much muscle as I have now, but I was really lean. But I was also doing cardio for like 2 to 3 hours a day, which really limited the lifestyle that I was living and made it very hard to keep up with. I was also eating an extremely high amount of protein. And yeah, I would want to find more of a balance if I try to get low again. We get it. You're proud of your Excel spreadsheet. I'm very proud of that. Keep out the silvers and put it in the shadows. Yep, and you can do that with other things too. It doesn't have to be just shadows. I think it's what, anchors? People said they were picking up for like 150, 200 coins. If you think even anchors could go to like 400 to 600 coins, imagine tripling your coins off of anchors. How tall are you? I'm 6'2". My body fat is typically, I like my body fat typically between 12% to 15%. If I'm closer to 15%, it's harder to see abs, but I still have abs. If I'm closer to 12%, I'm a lot more lean, but it's harder to keep up with. Right now, currently, I believe I'm at like 18.5 to 19% body fat. So the abs are no longer there. My bulk's kind of over. I didn't purposely bulk. It was more of a gradual bulk over time, and kind of laxation in a lot of different areas where I didn't have to be as strict in the gym. I didn't have to be as strict with eating, but had kind of a baseline that I did every day. So if I had to relate that to like FIFA terms, if my goal was to get like 100K a day in FIFA trading with silvers, maybe I'm getting to like 75K most days, where the results are there, but it's not going to be as many coins over time. But then like looking at where we're currently at, wanting to adjust, seeing what our goals are, how we're going to achieve that, I still have to put that all together. Like for me, I eat basically the same thing day to day. I kind of have my day-to-day eating. And one of the things I'm really focusing on right now, especially for the new year, is how can I eat even higher protein foods in my current range in a way that the taste to protein ratio is not going to get ruined. So for me, I've tried a bunch of different foods, and there's some stuff I can eat that's extremely high protein, but I don't like it, where I might be giving up the joy of eating it for the result of eating it. But if I can get a good middle ground or a really good protein for the taste, I'll go for it. So one of the things I've done long term that I really love is protein French toast. So putting egg whites into keto bread and adding a little bit of like vanilla extract, adding cinnamon in, I can make really good protein French toast, and then putting like sugar-free syrup and stuff on it, and like protein peanut butter, PB Fit, is really good. And that's something I can eat a lot of, and it won't be crazy in calories. One of the things I'm working on right now, I'm trying to perfect a recipe. I used to love a certain type of wrap when I was in college. It was a tortilla, and on the inside it had blue cheese, it had crispy chicken, it had buffalo sauce. So it was like a buffalo chicken wrap, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest blue cheese fan, but it tasted amazing. So now I'm trying to concoct the same thing, but instead of having the wrap, I'm trying to make it like a bowl. And what I did last night, which I really enjoyed, was I took super low fat cottage cheese, which is extremely high in protein. I put buffalo sauce in the cottage cheese to see what it would taste like. And so you get the texture of that clumpy cheese, without the taste of it. It tastes like buffalo. So I'm like, you know what? I bet it would taste good if I cut up onion in this. So I cut up a yellow onion and put it inside. And then I took crispy chicken from the freezer, put it in the air fryer, cut up some crispy chicken and put it in there. And oh my gosh, it was an insanely high protein meal and it was insanely filling. If I can do that on like a day-to-day basis, it's like my dinner. So I'll be doing that today after the stream. That would be phenomenal if I could keep up with that. I'm 10 to 12% most of the time. I want to get bigger while simultaneously maintaining my body fat. Got so much time though to be 16 with the good physique I have. Dude, I keep forgetting you're 15 or you're 16, man. Jeez. Some of you are so mature for your age, which is one of the biggest compliments I could give. Because like, I didn't find out about weightlifting or like really got into it until I was like 18 or 19. And when it came to like tracking calories, knowing what macros were, knowing what protein was, what an optimal workout looked like, I didn't know that stuff until I was 21. I'm 24 now. So like for those of you who start extremely young, that is props to you, man. Those are very important years. And like your long-term self is going to thank you so much for what you're doing right now. Like it might not seem like it. Like you might have these goals for yourself where you're like, yeah, I want to get to this size, I want to get this big, but I just feel really small right now. I'm telling you, bro, when you're like 25, you're going to look back and be like, dang, imagine if I didn't start until I was 20. A lot of high protein food is so dry, it's unreal. Well, the thing is, I've done every sort of diet or sort of like thing to eat that's ever come out where I know kind of all like the tips and tricks, and I prefer better tasting food than just like strictly macro food. So it's like, why the heck would I eat a plain piece of chicken with no seasoning next to like some rice with no seasoning when I could literally make cilantro lime rice with juicy grilled chicken parm or something, where you put a little bit more stuff on it. You make it taste so much better and still be relatively the same in terms of the macro put out. Training tips, pin playlist, buddy. We're doing silver center back method right now. Wraps are incredible for both bulks and carts. I got tired of wraps, so more I just have bowls and the same ingredients on the bread. And also too, you're 16, so you're probably having your parents buy the stuff of what you're using. When it comes to like what I buy in a store, if I'm really in the mood to make wraps, I'll typically get keto wraps where it's not super high calorie, but it's decently high in protein and decently high in fiber, which will fill you up a lot quicker. I'll get a container of like either lettuce or spinach as well, and I'll just load those wraps up with spinach. I'll put some either crispy chicken or grilled chicken on that. I'll lather it with like very low calorie sauce, and then like seasonings, and it tastes phenomenal. They also control a lot of what I eat, but I'm fortunate enough that both my parents cook healthy food day to day. That is one of the biggest blessings you could have, because as much as like I love like family dinners and stuff, there's some meals where it is just all carbs and no protein whatsoever. And if you're working towards a goal, and let's say your parents are the ones making most of your meals and buying the stuff, there has to be a certain level of, okay, there's goals you're working towards, but also your parents didn't sign up for these goals. If they're going to cook you this meal and you don't want to cook yourself something, you kind of have to put up with it or work around it. So like what I found when I was still living with my parents before I got the apartment a year and a half ago, was that if I knew their meal was going to be a little less high in protein and more carb based, I'd eat like more egg whites or more just like grilled chicken with my protein French toast and stuff like that earlier in the day. That way, towards the end of the day, those calories could be used more for like what they're having. Or I eat very limited. Like if I used to stuff my face with the food they make, I would then, instead of tracking it, I would be like, okay, I'm only going to eat one serving this time instead of my typical like 2 to 3. And then I'm going to do like some cardio right after before I go do some more league SBCs or something. One thing for me is I can't stand the taste of whey protein. I never really liked whey protein shakes either. putting whey protein into oatmeal and putting whey protein into like smoothies and stuff to hide the taste really helps with that. If you don't mind me asking, how much do you lift, Mumbo? I do weightlifting at 60 kilogram bell bar. Recently, it took me so long to move up from 40. I know you're talking about like how much I lift in the gym. I'm gonna answer that and how much lifting throughout the week I do. So if you look 2 years ago at my streams when I was still living with my parents, I would stream from 4 hours after new content like we normally do now. I would stream for like an hour and a half, and then I would go lift for like 2 hours after that, and then come home and do a crap ton of cardio. I would eat dinner, then go do cardio for like 2 to 3 hours. So most nights I was doing an excessive amount of stuff while trying to lean out and while trying to put on muscle, which was extremely hard because if you're cutting, it's going to be hard for your body to want to build that muscle. But I was trying to do a little bit of everything. So like when I was doing that, my lifts weren't as good as when I was bulking or main gaining, which would be eating at basically around your caloric intake needed to stay at the same weight while trying to get more protein in, while not gaining a crazy ton of weight. But in terms of lifts, I lift in pounds, so it's not going to be like equal measurements. I do 225 bench. I could do more than 225 bench, but I don't want to injure myself. I know I'm very prone to injury, so I'd rather just 225 and just kind of rep that out, or try to get more reps over time. I've kind of given up squatting. I used to squat quite a bit, but the apartment that I'm at is very limited with leg day resources. Squatting is one of those things that's available, but I've noticed I'm not as comfortable squatting weight that I used to, so I've just kind of given that up. I do more kind of the, is it Bulgarian split squats where you take the weight in your hands and then you squat while having like one of your legs on the bench? I think that's what it's called. I do that more than I do actual squats. Deadlift, how much can I deadlift? Let me see if I have the number down. The last PR I hit deadlift in this year, I think like 315-ish. I could be wrong, but I just learned how to deadlift like a year ago, so there's more, like the better I get with form, I could probably lift more. But that's another thing that I don't really want to risk. I feel like I could get injured doing deadlifts. So instead of doing more weight, I'll do less weight and just do reps with it. Progressive overload changed my life. I love progressive overload. Love it. Yeah, my goal is just whatever weight I'm using. Like my gym I used to go to at Anytime Fitness had up to 110 pound dumbbells, and if I was doing bench press with dumbbells, I could do 110s in each hand. But now the max I have is 65. So realistically, I can take the 65s. And my goal is to rep out as many as possible, but progressively overload the muscle. Because the muscle realistically doesn't know how much you're lifting. It just knows the resistance against the muscle. So if you're able to put a lot of time under tension with that muscle and really work that muscle, whenever it's starting to feel fatigued, those next kind of couple reps that you can get out, if you can really start grinding those out, that is where a ton of your new muscle development is going to come from. Because you're going to break down that muscle even more. And then if you're properly sleeping, properly eating, that stuff outside of the gym, it's going to grow it even bigger. I love big family meals. And that was another thing too. I had times where it's like I would refuse to eat those. I would eat something separate. Then I realized how much I appreciated those meals and how much I miss them now. Where we still do like family dinner once a week. And instead of, again, eating something completely different from them, I would much rather work around it where it's like, okay, if I do a little more cardio here, if I eat a little stricter here, I have the freedom to have a dinner with my family, have a dessert with my family, and be able to relax. Same thing with holidays too. Like instead of having the holiday where I am eating very clean and turning down every sort of sweet available, every sort of bad food available, I would much rather lose a little weight before, give myself the freedom to eat whatever I want during. Also too, just because you're going all out doesn't mean you need to go all out. You can eat cookies without having to eat 25 cookies. But myself, the way I kind of do things is I love stuffing my face during family get-togethers. So I will literally eat probably over 15 cookies 2 weeks from now when we do our family Christmas. But the way I'm going to work around that is I know I'm going to do it. Instead of punishing myself for doing it, I'm going to build it in. So I'm going to have very high protein meals the week before it. I'm going to be doing a lot more cardio. And then during those days, I'm going to have very filling protein meals beforehand. So if I'm going to binge 15 cookies, maybe I physically can't binge 15 cookies anymore. Maybe it's only 10. And I save on 5 cookies. New Druid, keep or sell. I think he's going to continue to go down in price throughout the week as he's packed more and more. So I would personally, I'm not buying him until later this week. So if you have them, I would assume he'd keep dropping in value until later this week. He's not an upgradable card, so nothing he does IRL should realistically change his price. I have no doubt in my mind this card's going to go down below 100K. I'm not one to take guesses, but I would assume there's going to be a point where he's below 90K, most likely around 85K would be my guess. I could even see him get to 75K because he's, realistically, if you look at the card, unless you're an AC Milan fan or a French fan or you're building a Serie A team, there's so many better options you could get as a striker. But 6'4", him being lengthy, 4'4", having really good shooting, him having pace now changes the card from his inform. I was using his inform that had like 40-something pace. What's up, Brax? Sure, I'm 6'4" and can put on muscle easily. Never playing squad battles again because I usually hit Elite 1 and get nothing. I didn't grind this week. I got Silver 1 pack KDB. Dude, did I tell you that I literally got better rewards? The first week I went to 2 wins and in Foot Champs instead of the usual like 9 to 11. I literally packed an icon. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just play to 2 wins each week. Give away the rest of the wins so people who are grinding have a little easier time. And then for me, I get 2 red picks for 2 wins. And if I get 2 red picks each time red picks are out, right now they're not, I can get a better 86 plus over time. In the first 86 plus we did, after doing that, we ended up getting ourselves a Neymar red. So I'm quite happy with that. Can we just talk about how bad some fitness influencers are, particularly as a 16-year-old? I was unaware of how much I actually don't know. Not only how much you don't know, how much people openly lie about being on steroids. Everyone gives women a hard time for like photoshopping their Instagram photos and little girls looking at that and thinking they can achieve that body, even though it's not natural. I feel like for men in the fitness industry, I would argue it's so much worse because I'm personally in it. There have been so many people I looked up to, or so many people's bodies I've seen that I was like, wow, I wish I could look like that. Not realizing it doesn't take just hard work and eating right to look like that. You also need a lot of anabolic steroids. Question 88, keep or sell now 26K. I think fodder, especially I think 88s are going to go up because of more SBCs and stuff. I think I've heard a couple different investing channels say to invest in fodder over the next couple days. I could be wrong, but I would look elsewhere for that information. I'm not usually a fodder investing guy. I can name so many fitness YouTubers with millions of views and subs whose advice, not only is their advice generally awful, they will have a physique that only is achievable through good lighting and mid-pump, where they'll go to another room to take a picture, and then we will think it's their day-to-day look. My favorite TikToks are the ones in the fitness industry who say, this is what I look like in lighting and a good pump, and this is what I look like normally. And what the people look like normally would really surprise you. A lot of them look like they never lift in their life. It's a harsh reality of the standard masculinity has risen to. Yep. The pressure put on men to look a certain way too. I feel like a lot of that is put on ourselves. But to achieve it naturally is an insane amount of pressure, an insane amount of dedication that you have to learn over time if that is your goal. But you hit a certain point where it's like, if let's say you're doing it for women, that's a big one. A lot of people will work out for a girl or work out for a woman and say, I want to look better for the woman. And a lot of time, once you get to a certain kind of size, women get grossed out a little bit where they don't want you that muscular, or prefer a certain percentage of body fat. And each girl's different. Some might want you to have insanely ripped abs, and the next one might not want that at all. So rather than doing it for someone else, do it for yourself. Like, do you want abs? Okay. Are you willing to cut the amount of fat needed to do that, if that's your goal? What are you doing right now? Never traded silvers. We're doing the silver center back method. Our trading playlist is pinned in chat. I'll also put the link in the chat as well, !trading. If you look at the silver player method video, it explains it in there. But we'll make another video this week specifically with silver center backs and how it works. Essentially, my goal is, right now, you can pick up a lot of silver center backs for 150 and they sell for 250 plus within the hour. And realistically, throughout the week, I pick them up for 150 and double my coins by selling them for 300. Whether it takes a quick time or it takes the full hour, there's typically better times than others. I also use it as an investment. If I can pick them up for 150 and store them in my club, there's times where every silver common on the market is like 400 plus coins. Now imagine that with thousands in your club, how crazy that could get to. I most years make over 10 million coins just from silvers alone. So if you are looking for kind of low end tips where maybe you're super invested or you have a lot of coins in your team, and you want something to do in between, usually if you have like 10 to 25K, it's very easy to do this stuff. I've been in stream for a week and you're on 13K. Yeah, we have 5 million coins plus in the shadows right now. It's self-inflicted, and the amount of competition inevitably just results in people doing literally anything to be more dominant. True. I can't stand girls that like dad bodies. Yes and no. Most girls, when they talk about a dad bod, people don't understand what a dad bod means. When a girl says, most girls, when they say they like a guy with a dad bod, they don't mean a dad who has no muscle on him and is fat. They mean someone who's essentially bulking and they have a lot of muscle underneath, but they're a higher body fat percentage. Like if you watch a lot of those influencer channels and they'll say like, oh, they'll go up to one and be like, what physique looks better? I like the dad bod. They'll point to the dude who has an insane amount of muscle, but he's higher in body fat. That's not a dad bod. A dad bod would be the lack of muscle and more fat. I'd rather you be honest and just admit that's not what you want, even if it means you're not coming across as nice. But the thing is, too, most people don't know what they want. And also, the more you kind of put yourself into these areas where you're very niche with the goals you're achieving, it's very hard for you to understand what someone else is looking for. For example, if I know it's stupid to relate things to FIFA, but if you look at FIFA as exact as we do with the kind of grind we want to do, the niches of communities we're associating with, that compared to the average bloke who buys the game at Christmas, plays a couple hours a week max, and enjoys every single FIFA no matter how bad the game is, because that's what little time he has, those expectations that each person has is going to be completely different. In this case, if we're talking about fitness and talking specifically about a girl, if a girl's not really into fitness or doesn't understand that whole world, it might be quite possible she's very intimidated about that whole world and doesn't understand a lot of things about it. So if that's the case, for you to think that she wants that or understands what that takes is walking into kind of a trap. But also too, if you have the idea that you're doing this for her and she doesn't want it, you're going to feel trapped as well. Investing in shadows? Yes. I want to get over 25 million coins this year off the shadows. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just communication, right? That's all communication. It's not a workout problem. It's not a lack of working out. It's communicating with someone else what they're looking for. You raised a good point about the intimidating factor. It's true, yeah. I mean, you could say the same thing about literally anything. It's not just fitness. If someone makes their whole identity about money, it intimidates a lot of people or turns off a lot of people because they assume that's all you care about. So I'm sure you're a little younger, so maybe it's not as common there. But once you kind of turn 18 plus and people start working jobs where it's not just like a minimum wage restaurant one, but they're maybe going to college, they're working a corporate world, you're going to start seeing a lot of people compare the salaries they make. You're going to see a lot of people brag about how much money they make. You're going to see a lot of people buy things they don't really need, but it has a price tag to it that gives them influence because they want to have the perception that they're in a good spot. Or mentally, they might be completely drained. Or they're completely depressed, but they want you to have the idea that they're living the life. The same way that a lot of people do with working out. If you're really into working out because you want to progress as a person and hit these goals, and you want to take all the steps and dedication it takes to put on more muscle, so be it. But a lot of people work out for perceptions. People want to look strong. People want to look quote unquote good. They want to look muscular. All these different things, which a lot of that is rooted in deep insecurity. And the deeper you go into it, you'll find typically the less it fulfills you. And it's quite possible you could be 10 years into bodybuilding or putting on muscle, and you still look at yourself in the mirror and see that little skinny insecure kid that has no muscle whatsoever. It's me, but the opposite. No matter how low of a body fat percentage I could be 12%, have ripped abs, and just look phenomenal to a bunch of people. But I'll still see myself as that fat, chubby little kid. Been wanting to get into investing on FIFA for a while, just don't know how. The only game I've sniped or invested is 2K. Cheeto, a good place to start, buddy, is kind of just tracking little trends. One of the best trends that comes week in, week out is repeatable SBCs. I don't know if you've ever seen player picks or like the 80 plus double upgrades or things like that. Typically, common golds are needed for those and they come on Monday. So what I would do if I were you don't even need to go crazy on these. But if you look at common golds right now, they are not selling for 400 coins. If we go to 350, they're selling within a minute for 350. So realistically, even though it's like 20 coins a card right now as a trading tip, if you picked up some common golds for 300 coins, worst case scenario right now, you make a little bit of profit on it if the investment goes to crap. But most weeks for player picks in repeatable SBCs, all gold commons typically go from 350 to 400 to 500 to 600 plus, typically. So you could most likely double your coins on every single card you pick up. Will it do it every single week? No, but they typically raise every single week no matter what. So you could look at that, and if you see you have, let's say, 25K. Let's say you put 25K into common golds for 300, and that 25K becomes a little less than 50K, and you saw it worked really well. Next week, you might want to put 50K in and do the same thing. With silver commons, we kind of use that same logic, but I do that with silvers. So whenever I can pick up silvers for 150, whether it be center backs, whether it be any position, I always do, because there's times on the market where everything's 300 plus, everything's 500 plus. If I'm sitting on hundreds, if not thousands of cards in my club, that's a lot of just investment money. But on top of that, you'll get daily SBCs that will shoot things up. So for example, yesterday, we had a Spanish SBC where Spanish cards that were center forwards, that were rare silvers, were over 3,000 coins, some of them. And we had a bunch of silver rare Spanish strikers that we were sniping for 400 coins or so to 600 coins. And we turned the striker into a center forward with our untradeable position modifier cards, because we just have untradeable ones in our club. And we were able to sell a lot of those that we picked up for like 600 coins max for 3,000 plus. So things like that are really good. And for me, I live in the silver market. You might live in the fodder market. You might live in the gold common market. We all kind of have different places we kind of live in. I'm up early tomorrow, and it's late down by me. Been a good discussion. Yeah. Hope you have a good rest of your stream. Hey, appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you for chilling, dude. How many coins in total? If I would get rid of everything at the current market price right now, meaning my investments I got out at their current price, the shadows, the silvers in my club, I would be sitting on probably 5.5 to 5.75 million at this current moment. And two, if you're doing silver trading, I'm not looking at the prices because I have an idea of how much things are right now and like what they could get to in the future. If this is all new to you, feel free to compare price before you bid. Like if you see this one most likely will sell for 300 within the hour, feel free to bid 150 and then know, okay, might take the full hour, but I can probably sell it for 300. This one, if it has a 250 bid within, or 250 snipe within the last couple minutes, most likely it would take the whole hour to try to get this card to sell for 250, but you still could pick it up. Yeah, so usually everything is instant buy now with Silver Center X for 200, and even that is falling. So if you're trying to flip right now for profit, start looking to see which ones are going more instantly for 200. If you look, there's way less cards that are 70 plus rated versus the ones that are like 65, 66, 67. Top nations you could look at too. All those things could be better pickups. You can kind of look at that with your open bids too, if you're comparing price. So let me just do this. We'll do silver common. We'll do center back. Let's do a max price 150. The minimum buy now 600. So if I let's say want to only bid on 70 plus rated cards, I could even bid 200 depending on what the card's going for. So if this looks like it's going for 300 within the hour, a 200 bid, that's 100 coins right now minimum. This one, if I put a 150 on, looks like it's going for 550 within the hour. So realistically, if I bid 150, maybe I can get to sell for 500. We'll see. This Moroccan player, 150 open bid. Maybe could go for 300 within the hour. Might be a stretch, but 250 would be a guaranteed 100 coins. This one already has a 150 bid. Lowest buy now looks like it's 450. I could bid 200 and double my coins on that one. So comparing price gives you a lot more ability to kind of see what things are going for. You might find better deals. But it depends on what your goal is. For me, it's the club stock and to pick up and flip cards. I'm not going for just the most profit per card right now. If that'd be the case, I'd be lazy listing everything for 300 plus. My main goal is a club stock and then sell duplicates. It's like we have hundreds of cards in here now that we didn't have earlier today. That I'll just wait to sell when they go up in value. That way, when you're trading and it's very hard for you to pick up a silver center back for anything less than like 250 on bid, the buy nows are like 300, 350, 400 for everything. That's when I would go back in here and be like, okay, I have all these I picked up for 150, 200. I can sell them now and make a bunch of coins as an investment. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for the stream today, boys. Nice, fun, chill stream today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the Discord. We'll be making a trading tip video this week specifically about silver center backs. For those of you who are kind of new to the method and you want more of an understanding for it. Tomorrow is most likely repeatable SBCs. I would say it'd probably be player picks or some sort of an upgrade pack. So we'll most likely have the video tomorrow be on that specifically. But yeah, we'll be streaming tomorrow too, opening some of them. So you'll see me then. Yeah, have a good night. God bless you guys. We'll see you then. Peace.